Well, welcome back to the New Old School podcast. This is number 37. I am your host, David, and I'm here with
Jonathan, JB, whatever. Is that what's good?
And today we are lucky enough to be joined with Michael Alig, who is formerly from the New York club scene, well, currently as well, but he is the king of the club kids and the inspiration behind the book and movie Party Monster. But he's also a up-and-coming artist, and he still promotes clubs in the New York area, and we're just going to touch base with him on how his life has been and what he's up to now. So welcome to the show, Michael. Thank you very much for being flexible with us and finally being on.
Oh my God! Thank you for being flexible with you. I think I've missed like the. I don't want to get into it, but thank you for being flexible with me.
More than welcome. We are glad to have you on. So for the people who aren't aware who you are, do you mind?
Wait a minute. There are people who aren't aware of who I am.
Maybe.
Okay.
But for those who aren't aware, do you mind telling everyone a brief 5-minute intro of who you are?
I mean, I guess, like you said, I moved to New York in 1984 and sort of was in the right place at the right time, I think. And I filled a void when Andy Warhol died and became sort of this counterculture figurehead of the Club Kids. That was this organic kind of spirit. It wasn't really a counterculture. It was more of a hyperculture, I think, because there was nothing really counterculture about what we were doing. There was everything that is about America was about the Club Kids, from the creative prowess and the self-promotion and always coming up with a new angle and this kind of P.T. Barnum, showmanship thing. It's all they're all purely American tenets. So there's really nothing counterculture about it. So I spearheaded that, and then it all kind of fell apart because we all got, kind of wasted on drugs and made a lot of really bad decisions. And I went away for a while to pay for it, and now I'm back and trying to, I don't know what I'm trying to do. I guess I'm trying to be a better person so that I can have a better self-esteem and feel better about myself and maybe do some good in the world.
Which I think is a noble thing to do. I think being better people should do that.
Everyone should try at least once,
right.
To be a better person. But it also seems you're exploring other avenues of expressing yourself too, in your clothing as well as your paintings. And we were talking about before we got on the podcast how you are on your way to New Jersey currently in the car, and you're possibly going to have some work or do some stuff with Art Basel in Miami.
That's that's the goal. That's one of the goals. I've been wanting to be involved with Art Basel ever since I knew about Art Basel, and this is the first year that I've gotten this close to being invited. So.
Well, we hopefully will not see you there personally, but see you there. And this isn't the first time you've kind of not a pun to play on words, but flirted with certain artists. You did hang out with a lot of artists in your heyday in the late 80s, early 90s in New York, correct?
Yeah, I mean, they just happened to be part of the scene. My roommate at college was dating Keith Haring, and it was just before he became famous. It was as he was becoming famous, and so we got to sort of watch him become famous, and and then Jean-Michel Basquiat and all those people were DJs at the club, so they were just part of the scene, and it was really cool watching them become, go from the person that you see in the club or the person that calls every day begging for a $75 DJ gig turn into somebody who's selling, $25 million paintings.
Yeah, that could be pretty crazy to, wrap your head around.
Now, what time was this? I know it was late, mid-80s?
Yeah, this is 86, 87.
Which, besides that movement that popped around that era, you didn't hear too much going on besides maybe Studio 54 in the late 70s. So I think there was a void that maybe a lot of people didn't know was going on.
Are you talking about the club?
Right.
Going to the club? Oh, okay.
Because New York is
It was there was a lot of things going on. It was this post disco era where people didn't really know. There were discotheques, so people didn't really know if a discotheque could survive after disco went away. So these clubs were playing what then was called album oriented rock, AOR, and it was just very weird. If you see a video of this time period, it's just very weird to see these people dancing to like kind of what is you would consider rock in a large dance club, and then that kind of morphed into like new wave and new romantic, and then Blondie and that kind of thing, and it became a little bit more clubby. But yeah, and then the whole AIDS crisis came about, and that after and coupled with the death of Andy Warhol, I mean, it was just like we were hit from all angles, and it. A lot of people thought that it would never bounce back from that because it was so depressing. There's nothing like going to a nightclub that was built for 7,000 people and seeing 300 people there. It was like a funeral, and it was like a funeral for New York City, and people thought that it would not come back. And in fact, a lot of very important people like Rudolph, who was the director of Danceteria and Mars and Quick and all these big clubs, he left New York because he said New York was over. But I really didn't think it was. I kind of thought it was. I believed him, but I hoped it wasn't. And I said that I think we could get one more cycle of fabulousness out of New York before it's over. And he kind of challenged me to do it. So that's what we did.
And you were very successful at doing so, I would assume. You got a whole bunch of people to go to McDonald's
while you're
in the middle
doing
of the
it,
night.
you never feel successful.
True.
You don't feel successful, I guess, until after it's over.
Yeah, I mean, because I've been told. I mean, I knew about your McDonald's party, but that's probably the question I get asked the most to ask you about.
That party we thought was a huge flop, but like people look at it now and they're like, "Oh my God!" But we were really disappointed in that party.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? Turnout wise, or just vibe wise, or?
The right people. Larissa wasn't there. Larissa was my barometer of cool. She was the muse of Terry Mugler, and she was like this. She was like kind of like a cross between Vampira and Morticia Adams, and well, I guess that's and a model, because she was a model at one point. But she was like 70 years old, and she was like vampiric and like veiny hands and bright red talons, and and she was just this. She was kind of like Anna Wintour, like maybe 30 years later, and just savagely fabulous. And to me, anything she said and did, and if she came to my party, if she was the only one at my party, the party was a success. So, and sometimes she was the only one at my party, and I would say, "Oh, what a great party!" And then Peter would say, "Yeah, well, the bank isn't going to call tomorrow and say we can't make the payroll, but we heard Larissa was at your party, so we're going to pay all your pay. We're going to pay everybody their salaries because Larissa had a great time."
Right.
But I don't think Larissa did go to that party, so it was a failure for me.
Now, was there any music being played other than like maybe like a boombox situation? Because I've seen videos from that night, and I was wondering if there was any music being played that was like that you
At
brought.
that particular event, there wasn't, because we were supposed to actually have the party at Burger King, but they caught us setting it up, and we had to at the last minute decide to do it somewhere else. And so McDonald's was right across the street, so we said, "Hey, let's do it at McDonald's." But so the sound system and everything was at Burger King, and we had to run home and get a boombox to like make music.
Interesting. So what do you mean they caught on when you were bringing in sound and everything?
They saw us setting up, and they're like, "What are you doing?"
like no.
Yeah.
We walk in. We were very good at it. Everybody had their own job. Like one person would walk in with the music, one would walk in with the vodka, one would walk in with the cups, one with the ice, one with the mixers, one with and we would all do it together so that they couldn't stop us. But they stopped us. And in a rare moment of usually we would have not let that stop us, but we did let it stop us, and I think it was James who decided that we should let it stop us, and then we said, let's just do it at McDonald's.
Well, I mean, you did buy a large amount of burgers and fries, so.
Well, Rudolph did, and that was a huge mistake because he gave them his credit card. Whoops. And he just said give them however many hamburgers they want, and they ended up charging his credit card for all of the damage, and there was a lot of damage because somebody pulled a toilet out of the floor, and
Wow.
it's caused a huge spout of water going, all over the restaurant and on the second floor, and made a waterfall going down the stairs, and all the potted, ferns and whatever were uprooted and thrown around, and windows were broken, and so it cost him a lot of money.
I didn't see any of those on video. Any of that on video.
Yeah, you see a lot of it in the Nelson Sullivan video. You see the toilet, and you see the water, and you see the uprooted, and you see people start to get scared. Like the older people, they start to get a look on their face like it's time to go now.
This is supposed to be a glamorous evening, and we're not having that.
Mm-hmm.
At the local McDonald's.
It's funny you bring up Nelson because that was one of my questions I was going to bring up later, but. That's someone who I stumbled upon on YouTube. I guess you are aware of that channel as well, but he had a bunch of videos that featured you, and
he has over 8,000 videos, and they're all like 5, 6, 7 hours long.
Yeah, and he's like the first vlogger for the most part too.
Mm-hmm.
He was walking around with the camera, but I saw a lot of people he was hanging out with you, and then he was hanging out with a bunch of other people, like I guess RuPaul's from your little circle as well from back then, and it was just kind of interesting to watch all that and just watch all the videos of your parties from his perspective and stuff.
Yeah, well, his when he died, the executor of his estate sold the bulk of the collection to NYU, and they're in the process of digitizing and keeping, whatever they're keeping it from degrading.
Archiving it.
The people the executors have told me that they would give me all the footage if I wanted to use it for a documentary. And I was the only person they've given it to. So that's going to be a really great documentary. I don't want to miss squander that opportunity. I really want to make that documentary.
It is very interesting. I mean, I get caught in YouTube rabbit holes, as I call them, and that was definitely one of them. I got caught in one night just watching a bunch of them.
You could watch his videos probably for the rest of your life and not run out of them. I mean, there's so many of them.
Yeah, and you know what it does? It humanizes a lot of people I've seen in the movie for a long time too.
Sometimes too much.
Right, a little. Yeah. But it is interesting to meet the real live people through his videos at that time as all that's going on too.
RuPaul you may think she's pretending to be a crack whore in those videos, but she was actually a crack whore in those videos. So it does humanize her, but probably not in the way that she would like to be.
Right. Well,
or maybe not. I don't know.
You never know. Yeah.
Behind the scenes is behind the scenes normally for a reason.
Especially if it's like 20 plus years in the in the past, and all of a sudden it's.
But
bam.
we would all get so drunk that we would forget he had the camera going.
Yeah, and then if he always has it going, you feel like it's
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is rare. It is a rare thing that everyone seems so okay with being on camera with him. But I mean,
because we didn't remember it was there.
And there's no way that everyone can quickly watch it unless he copies 10 tapes.
And nobody cared enough about it back then either. No, everybody thought nobody's ever going to watch this. He's just a crazy person, and with his cats, and he's going to die, and they'll be molded and be buried with him or something. Nobody thought anybody would care enough to watch it.
Well, I have watched a couple of them, like I said, and I did think a couple of the videos were very interesting, especially the one where you guys took the bus to DC, a party bus kind of thing.
Yeah,
that was a good one. I like that.
I remember that.
Now, prior to going to all I'm not sure how long you have while you're in your transportation. So I want to make sure we do touch upon things that you want to talk about as well. I know you've probably gone over this a million times before, so we don't want to be redundant as a podcast.
I'm nothing if not redundant.
Aren't we all?
Yeah.
Well, I know you also do a podcast as well.
Or like a YouTube show. Podcast,
Yeah,
YouTube show?
I can't hear you.
You got you have a podcast / YouTube show?
I guess the Pew is a podcast. Yeah, it's a daily. We try to make it a daily web show with Ernie Glam, and it's actually been getting us in a lot of trouble. We've lost a lot of friends. People are afraid of us. They don't want to, the first thing people call us, the first thing out of their mouth is, this better not end up on the pew. So, but that's actually a good sign. It means that people are, they're afraid of being on the pew, but which means that they're watching. So, and all the people that really matter are watching the pew. Like, RuPaul's DragCon is coming up in September, and we've been warned not to say anything bad about RuPaul in the next 2 weeks because Randy and Fenton at World of Wonder are going to be watching the pew, and if we say anything that they're not going to like, then we're not going to get into DragCon. Right. So obviously all the right people are watching it, which is
well. Luckily, you're not saying that on the pew, but you can say it here, I guess.
Right. Well, we did it anyway.
Is there if you don't mind me asking, what is the beef between you and RuPaul?
I mean, it's not. I don't have any beef with RuPaul. She has obviously something with me, and I know what it goes back to. She felt slighted when I first met her. I met her and Lahoma and Larry T all together, and Larry T and Lahoma had just moved to New York, and I hired them the day that I met them to work at Tunnel. And I didn't hire RuPaul because she didn't live in New York. She still lived in Atlanta. And I didn't know it, but that set in motion this domino effect thing where she thought that I didn't hire her because she was black, and she hated me from then on. Even after I did hire her, Larry T called me and said, Ru wants to move to New York, and how do we get her here? So I had Tunnel buy her a plane ticket and give her $1,000 and pay her rent for 2 years, and give her all this, support her in every way we can. And the night of her party, she was just a total bitch to me, and I asked Larry why she was being that way, and he said, "Oh yeah, she hates you."
Oh,
and I said, "Well, then why did we just spend $2,000 to bring her up here, and why are we paying her rent, and why we, And he said that. He explained that she didn't get hired right away, and I said, "Well, she didn't live here." And he said, "I know." I explained that to her, but there's no explaining it to her, and she just started off in a bad way, and never. And then my subsequent behavior probably didn't make things any better.
Right.
Because I had a habit of doing things when I was drunk but it wasn't only to her.
You're right. It's just everyone.
I was mean to everybody.
Yeah.
But. One day I just go 2000. She says that I spit in her mouth when she wanted to get paid, and I said I wouldn't give her her paycheck until she kissed me, and that when she bent over to kiss me, and she felt like I was making her grovel, and then when she bent over to kiss me, she says I spit in her mouth. What really happened was, and I'm quibbling over words, but it was not spit, which to me brings about aggression and projectile, and and it was actually I was drooling, and my mouth was filled with saliva, which is more of a passive thing. I did do that on purpose. I will admit I had a mouthful of saliva when she kissed me, and it was transferred onto her mouth, but it was not a spit. And at that point she said that she would never, ever, 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 ever have anything to do with me, although she continued to accept paychecks and, all that, until she became a big star, and now she won't talk to me. But, I understand it. She doesn't like me, so whatever.
Well, it is what it is. At least they're watching your YouTube,
Yeah. If you want to take it a step further, the pew was actually meant to be on World of Wonder, but RuPaul put the kibosh on that and threatened to quit Drag Race if they continued with that plan.
Yeah, I was looking at the channel. I thought it was PU originally. I'm glad you clarified that, since it kind of looks like that.
It is P.
PU?
Like PU?
Right.
Well, yeah, PU, yeah.
It's both.
It's supposed to be like The View, but it stinks.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there you go. That makes more sense.
That.
So how long have you been doing art, as far as like painting and like physical art like that?
Which is at your website, michaelalig.com.
Yeah, michaelalig.com. You can see most of the episodes of The Pew there. It's unbelievably difficult to upload an episode of The Pew to michaelalig.com. I can't believe in this day and age that it takes so much effort to get a damn video up on a website. It takes forever to put a video up there. so we're behind a little bit.
Well, it's up to date on the YouTube though, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So you can subscribe there and get that income too.
Yes.
So how long have you been doing art as far as painting and such go?
Since I went away, I did it basically to stave off boredom, and keep me from killing myself. I guess I needed something to do, and freeze my my codependent was is an artist, and he lent me some canvases and paints and just have fun, and people like the paintings, and so I kept making them.
Well, that's cool. Yeah, it's probably a good creative output from when you went away from doing all these lavish parties where you were using that as your creative output.
Yeah, it definitely gave me something to do. I mean, I could lose myself in a painting, and I start painting at 5 o'clock in the morning, and next thing I know, it's midnight, and I didn't even notice the day went. So it was a very good way to make the day go fast.
When you were dressing up as the club kids and stuff like that, was that you being creative as well as letting your creativity just flow out in like your appearance form?
Yeah, I mean, kind of everything I do is kind of another arm of that. If it's a book or a painting or a clothing line or an outlaw party, they're all kind of the same thing. Everything I do kind of has this intersection of this point where you think that it's maybe very cute and innocent, but at the same time there's something a little bit sinister and evil about it. So you're not sure whether it's kind of like a Pee Wee Herman grin or John Wayne Gacy painting. It's like you don't know whether it's like a cute, innocent thing for kids or something that should be kept away from kids.
Right. Yeah. So where did you get your inspirations for your outfits and such? And where did you ever direct your friends on what to wear? I know that you used to have like full body costumes like Clara the Chicken and such, and I think the person on your YouTube is.
I mean, I guess I did tell some people what to wear, but if they worked for me, I guess. But I was inspired a lot by Lee Bowery and Ronald McDonald and Lucille Ball and Bugs Bunny and a lot of. I guess it's kind of like a little bit of all of those things.
And how did that catch on up there? Because I myself am in the club scene here.
I mean, it was the most ridiculous. As if we were saying, let's do the most ridiculous thing and see if we can trick people into thinking that this is trendy, and see if people will follow it. And they did. And because I went through psychoanalysis, and my psychiatrist said that he thinks that this was a subconscious gesture on my part to get back at all of the people who used to make fun of me in school, and because I couldn't be like them, so now I'm saying I do these ridiculous things in order to make them imitate me so that I can laugh at them from the inside. And that may be the case.
Do you ever laugh at the people from the inside on their outfit?
Or Revenge of the Nerds.
It's true. So, speaking of DJs that you grew up with, there is a DJ that you did grow up with in that scene that I've seen quite a couple times here, DJ Kiyoki. So I'm somewhat familiar with his music at least, but not him personally.
We're on our way to pick him up right now.
Oh, interesting.
Wow.
Maybe he wants to be on the podcast. You never know.
Part of this cabal.
Oh, for the Art Basel?
They're kidnapping me in order to shake some sense into me and make me a real artist.
Well, from the looks of your website, it looks like you are a real artist. You have art on sale, and you have art that people want. So,
a real artist who can make an appointment and actually be there and on time and not half an hour late like this time.
But technically, real artists do that anyway.
I mean, I guess, but they don't. I guess nowadays they can't, because nowadays Stoli Vodka won't put up with it. So
exactly.
You have to do what Stoli Vodka wants.
Which is the sponsor for the play.
Oh, is it?
No.
Is that your sponsor?
No. They can be if they'd like to be, though.
All right, so I'm glad that we got you on, because originally setting up the podcast, we were like, all right, well, let's go on anyways, because the show must go on technically.
Mm-hmm.
But we got the notification when you responded, and that was perfect timing.
Perfect timing.
In all honesty.
Yeah, we were gonna limp through the lamest podcast, but now we actually have you on, and it makes it so much better. But
Oh, great.
it makes it's really cool to actually talk to you in person because I saw the movie Party Monster way back in the day, and
Ugh.
I know, but I love electronic music and that kind of club scene, so I really got into the whole Club
Yeah,
Kid
if
thing,
you're
and
looking, if you're going watching the movies, the music and and the makeup and the outfits and the parties, that's good.
yeah,
But other
no,
than that, it's like
I know it's a
it's really
fabricated
one
story
dimensional and
for
like,
some. Yeah, I know that it was written, and I know your friend James St. James also kind of made it more interesting for people to watch as
hmm
well. So
my
um,
friend James St. James.
he's been on your podcast, so I mean,
Yeah, he is my friend James St. James.
does he still
Um,
live out west? And
yeah, he works for World of Wonder.
okay, that's cool. But anyway, about the movie, it's just really cool to actually finally talk to the inspiration behind it, even though everything that had transpired in the movie and whatnot. But you want to answer the door, I guess.
I mean, they condensed a lot of things, and they they put characters together like Jenny and Gitsy were one person, and Rudolph and Peter and Maurice Brahms were all one person, and they kind of dumbed it down a little bit.
Yeah,
Well, a lot. They dumbed it down a lot.
yeah. Another person from Party Monster, the Marilyn Manson character, Christina. She was
Oh, I
someone.
think he did a great job of Christina.
Yeah, he was the when he's in the truck driving the truck and something he has the acid tablet on his tongue. It's one of my
hmm
favorite parts of the movie. But she was someone who I got into on the Nelson videos because her and Nelson were really good
Yeah, thank
friends.
God for Nelson for that.
But yeah, it was interesting because some people say that she was very depressed or whatnot, and she seems like she has it together in those videos at least.
Really?
To me, I mean, granted, everything that's going on in that time, because
I mean, I guess compared to everybody else, she might. But I mean, I mean, really, she's like talking to the Queen of England. You go over to her house and she's like saying, Andy Warhol is in my television set dancing with spiders on the ceiling. I mean, and it doesn't make any sense.
oh, that's crazy
And
stuff.
you wondered whether it was an act or like whether she was just really crazy.
She wasn't German, right? She just did the
She was
accent.
not. She was from
Yeah,
Pittsburgh.
yeah. So you never know. Yeah, it could all be an act at all.
She was an English teacher, and when she decided to become a woman, her parents, who were very wealthy, paid her to move away because she was an embarrassment to their family. So they paid her to move to New York.
Hmm. That is crazy.
It actually became a very big thing to embarrass your family so much that they will pay you to go away.
She unknowingly started that.
hmm
Um,
So we asked a few people, I guess, based on last week. They told us to ask about certain things. We always like to get kind of people's feel for what questions they would have. Because prior to Dave saying, hey, we're going to have you on, I had to do my research. I didn't necessarily know because, like I said, he's kind of big into the music scene. And then I really liked the art scene back then, but I didn't dig deep into, of course,
It was
who
very intimidating,
Warhol
the art
is,
scene
and
back then.
yeah,
I mean, really intimidating. Like you couldn't even like talk to them. They were like so intimidating.
yeah, no, I mean the names that have been thrown around in that time frame too are big, like you said, Herring, Basquiat, and Warhol.
yeah.
hmm
But yeah,
I mean, who would have known when Jean-Michel painted the inside of the Michael Todd room? I mean, he did it for nothing. And when they tore the thing down, they had to tear around those pieces because they were worth many millions of dollars.
well,
And you know, it was just weird, like seeing like it go from like zero to a million in like really in like weeks.
well, he also now holds the record for the highest or the most, like the highest painting ever purchased from an American painter, recently sold, and it was like $110 million, which was
Ugh.
a Basquiat. So,
Which
yeah.
one was it?
That's
It's
a
the
great
blue face.
question. Hold on. I will
It's a face, and it's just like it's blue. It has a lot of blue in the background.
I really did it all wrong. I went to a Catholic college, and all the kids that I went to in that college that were prostitutes are now multimillionaires because they prostituted with people who were going to die soon, and when they died, they left all their money to them. So, and Keith Haring is one, and Jean-Michel Basquiat, and they have, I mean, unbelievable, like hundreds of original Keith Harings, and and townhouses and everything, all because they have big dicks. And I went to a Catholic school and like tried to learn theology and whatever, and I'm starving right now. I don't have enough money for a cup of coffee.
Same here.
Yeah, it was the Untitled that sold for 110 million.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's insane.
If I had to do it all over again, I would be a prostitute.
Well, you never know. Someone might be buying your paintings for so much around that, at some point.
Well,
Actually, they say 50 is the new 30. I'm actually thinking about going into one of those like dating, arranged services thing, because maybe there's like some 90-year-old that will see me as like a young chick,
or
chicken. So,
could be a lot of young dudes too. You never know.
I mean, and a lot of them don't want a 20-year-old because they don't have anything to talk to them about. I will at least have a conversation with them.
You can be a companion.
And I will talk them into
Confidant.
taking their will to their lawyer, and I will do the Anna Nicole Smith thing, and I'll videotape him, signing the will over to me, and then just wait.
Just wait, yeah. Anna Nicole Smith. That's a good one.
Yeah, I think the issue with the artist, like you'd be a good artist. Some of those artists don't see the money while they're alive, but growing up.
And nowadays, I think it's changing. I think it's changed. I think we're seeing the cusp of that, where artists are seeing at least some of the money while they're alive.
Yeah, I think everything being on the internet and being now, and instantly sharing, it does work in the artist's favor.
I've thought several times about faking my own death in order to make my paintings worth more money, and then so I could spend it while I'm alive. Oh, I shouldn't have told you that.
No, it has come full circle that way. I think before, art wasn't as, I don't know.
Prominent?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
I mean, it's more accessible now to everybody. I think everyone's seeing a lot more art rather than it was maybe back in, Basquiat times and whatnot, because you'd have to wait for like Time magazine to print an article or the newspaper to print an article.
Mm.
You couldn't see it on the internet whenever, like you just Googled the painting, you know what I mean?
Right.
So, yeah, I think everyone wants to be an artist more so nowadays because it's more accessible in so many different art forms, not just painting or anything like that, but just in everything. I think you have a lot more outlets for creativity in this day and age as well, which is also muddling the rivers and stuff like that.
In some ways, it kind of cheapens it.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
It makes it less fabulous, less cool. If everybody can be cool and fabulous, then nobody is cool and fabulous. But apparently, we are not yet at the point where everybody is cool and fabulous.
Not yet. Once that happens, the aliens will come down and party with us.
As will be proven when we cross the river into New Jersey.
Well,
sorry, guys.
You're good. So currently, you've been out of prison for 3 years now, a number of years, correct?
Mm-hmm.
How was it being in prison, if you don't mind me asking? Because I also have like
great.
I also have like a fixation on like finding out about, like I watch all those lockup shows and stuff like that. So I just wanted to ask you how
they're getting more and more realistic.
The lockup shows?
Yeah, it's like they're going incrementally. Like they're thinking, well, they're not ready for that yet. Well, now they are, and so they're going a little bit further and a little bit further, and pretty soon it will be reality. They will be really showing what reality is.
They'll end up putting just webcams in there, and you can live stream all that.
Yeah, like Big Brother style. It's sort of going in the Mad Max direction.
But you did create. I mean, not create, but you did find out that you had a knack, or you had an interest in painting there. So, was it any outside of just spending your time 17 years there, was there any other beneficial things that happened as far as like relationships that were formed or things that you spent time on, like maybe school or something?
The officers were a lot nicer to me because I painted. It's weird how important these was. They would want me to paint like the logo of like their favorite hockey team or whatever on the wall, and that kind of thing would get me like, they would make me steak dinner, and like I would get to hang out all night with them and like have like all kinds of privileges because of that. So that in that way it did. but it also got me in a lot of trouble. Like the swastika Mickey Mouse paintings I did, they tried to charge me with gang-related material because of the swastika, and they didn't realize that putting the Mickey Mouse on the swastika changes the whole meaning of the swastika. So I had to explain that to like, the plumbers and the garbage men,
Right.
and because they're in charge. So, luckily the superintendent, had taken art history, and so he understood it. But had it not been for that, I would have been in solitary confinement for a year for that, which the irony, of putting somebody in solitary confinement for painting art, it's like,
That's some like witchcraft day stuff.
That's happened before.
Yeah, it's definitely happened before for sure. So, what was like the worst time spent there? Was it the beginning or just toward the middle or at the end?
I overdosed in the visiting room one time, and it was really awful because it was my birthday and it was supposed to be a really fun day. A lot of my friends came and they all brought me ecstasy in a balloon, and I swallowed it, and the balloon popped in my stomach.
Yikes.
And just very suddenly it turned scary because I thought that I could die, and I thought my friends would be arrested, and so they had to run out. They literally ran out of the facility, which was a bad thing because it tipped off the officer that something was wrong, and he wouldn't let me go back to my cell because I think he kind of figured something, and he said that I had to go to the hospital to be checked out, and I knew what that meant, and I said, I don't think I can make it to the hospital. He said, what are you talking about? And it was coming on so fast because there was so much of it going into my bloodstream that the minute I stood up, I passed out. And it was in the middle of like a crowded Saturday afternoon, and they had to carry me out on a stretcher. And, it was just, and I woke up in an observation tank naked, not knowing my name, not knowing where I was. I thought I was surrounded by glass walls, and I thought that I had been abducted by aliens because it was all very antiseptic and white and glass and computers and people behind the glass walls talking into microphones and the words coming out behind me in a speaker, and it was kind of, I thought that I was being abducted.
Yeah,
and,
trippy.
It was very frightening, and it took me 2 days to realize what had happened. Because there was acid in the ecstasy, and I was hallucinating for I don't know how long, and I was scared that I could imagine the headlines, if it had gotten out, Michael Alig overdosing on LSD in prisons,
Right.
it could have been really terrible, but it ended up. I don't know how I didn't get. Well, I know why, because they can't test for LSD. My urine tested clean, and so they couldn't. They just thought that I was crazy. I didn't get in trouble for it.
Interesting.
So
Speaking of urine, one of the questions I think JP was trying to ask earlier is someone asked us to ask you about the pee party.
About what?
A pee party. Like a urine party or a pee party. I don't know if it was a theme that you had.
The screen froze when you said pee party. Did you say pee party?
Yeah, I said pee party.
I think that's what I
can I plug this in?
Yeah.
I think I'm.
Of course. Oh, do you need a different one?
Think.
Right here.
Battery's running.
I'm not sure if that's the reason, but I think it is.
And we lost him.
We lost him. That's interesting. Well, I guess I was gonna cut it short because it kind of sounded like they were where they were at.
Right.
So
they were in New Jersey.
Yeah, they had crossed over the river, picking up Kiyoki. Man, I forgot to ask him because Kiyoki got arrested recently in the last 2 months.
Really?
Yeah, with like a bunch of money and like a government person, I believe. Damn it! I was literally thinking about asking him that. Maybe his phone died.
Yeah, hopefully he'll call us back. I'm thinking his phone died.
I don't think his phone died. But I definitely would like to have him back on because we were really not. I mean, we were prepared, but then we got unprepared.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it was like, got to be prepared again.
So originally we are gonna have him on 6. I think 6:20 is when we came onto the podcast, anyways.
Right, and we had already said to ourselves, all right, screw it, we're just gonna go live. And
We're gonna do it live.
yeah, I said, fuck it, we'll do it live. And I was almost going to go live, and you're like, hold up, wait a minute, let me get some notes together. And then literally like 30 seconds after that, it's like,
hey, I'm ready. Cool.
Yeah, so
I need some more notes. Hold
we
on.
had to switch gears. But yeah, you should definitely check out. I mean, everyone knows now Michael Alig was the inspiration behind Party Monster. And like he said, not everything in the movie is completely true. However, he did spend 17 years in jail for
manslaughter.
The death
Right.
of Angel, his roommate and whatnot. But
It was-
yeah, so there is that. But you know, he spent his time, did his time.
Now, I didn't watch the Hollywood movie, the one you watched.
You watched the documentary,
right? Which is more of the live video, and then almost like a interview for some of the people that were.
Yeah, it's kind of
Or
like one of those
in-
weird things where they're following him around anyway at that time.
Yeah.
And like they're filming everything. Kind of, it felt like, kind of like that Nelson guy. The Nelson guy, like I told you about, he was filming everything, and yeah, they had like some documentary people they were interviewing post.
Well, if he really gets
Post-murder.
all that footage, I think he could really piece together a story, and hopefully it's one of those, because everybody doesn't want to be seen as
In a negative way,
right.
Right.
Um,
You have
but
to
I
just
think-
take all information in.
Yeah, I think the truth needs to be.
I mean, you'll never get the truth. From anyone in any party, for the most part. You just gotta be
Well, it's a
able.
different perspective from
Yeah,
everyone.
yeah. You just gotta take everyone's kind of like input, put it in your own head, figure it out. What you think is bullshit and what's not bullshit. I mean,
Where's the Skype? Check if he's on.
let me see Skype.
Just in case.
No, he's not on. He still hasn't. He's offline. But I mean, like, you got to take everything in. Like, you got to take the movie. You got to take the shockumentary. You got to take Talking to Michael. You got to take James St. James' side. You got to take everyone else's things that you've read on the internet and shit. You got to decipher in your own head what happened. I mean, I know he was involved. It's not, that doesn't make him like the world's worst person. I also know the circumstances behind all that too. You know what I mean? Like he was saying, they made a lot of bad decisions. They were all fucking on heroin and shit.
And that's normally what happens when you're on drugs, I would assume.
I mean, if you think about it all the time, people like take prescription medication sometimes, and like you could take a couple like Loratabs or some shit and kill people and wake up the next day and have no fucking clue, you know?
Unfortunately, that happens. I mean, you may even just like be 3:00 in the morning, and you wake up chilling in your car.
Yeah.
I mean,
And you're in the middle of some shit.
so
But yeah, I mean, it sounds like he is like he's come a long way from that perspective as well. I don't think he does. I'm not going to speak for him or anything like that, but I don't think he does a lot of things that he did back in the day. I know that in scheduling these interviews, we had to go around. He's part of a drug program and shit like that too. So
yeah. Well, you have a moment of clarity, I believe, is what it's called, and it's important.
and he's expressed. He's talked about this on his
Right.
YouTube channel too. So you can go and see where he expresses remorse and talks about it. And I mean, you can go on there and see all that, or you can watch a documentary, or you can watch Party Monster and try to piece it together too. But
Well, we had some comments that looked like going through the video,
yo, I think
and
my
my
internet
family
cut out.
like checked in with us.
I think my internet cut out.
What do you mean?
I think we're just recording the podcast now and we're not live anymore. But anyway, continue going.
Are we? No, I think. Hold on.
Are you on?
Refresh. We're good.
Okay, so something happened on that Facebook. Then I guess it's just frozen.
Why don't you refresh that?
Nah.
All right.
So your family
I'm
stopped
on
by
it.
and
Yeah,
wanted to tell you hello.
It seems. Yeah.
I thought it was
I
for
don't
Michael.
think this is their type of bag.
Hey,
And,
welcome to the podcast, JP Hypes family and friends. This is a good one to start off on. Definitely research the guest.
Yeah, Mom.
Yeah, it's weird though, because like the cool thing about diving into like the rabbit hole that I dug myself into, finding out more information, is I did find that Nelson guy's YouTube. It's not his YouTube; it's a YouTube put on by somebody. It's you just look up Nelson Michael Alig, and I'm sure it pops up because he was hanging out with Michael at the time. But yeah, it was really cool. Like he was hanging out at Herring's art shows back in the day. You can go and see all that stuff.
That's really neat, by the way.
Yeah, and that's just a cool little glimpse into that life and what was going on, and just it's a good glimpse into New York too. And I didn't And it was like I was saying to him, you get to find out who like these characters are in this TV show. Like you get to find out, you know,
A lot of people don't realize what's going on there.
like who Seth Green played,
unless
or
you're
whatever.
there. I mean,
Yeah.
And New York always has these errors, so that's what I was talking about. You know, like
Well, that was like the prime street art.
BCBGs. What is it?
CGBG.
Yeah. Then you have Studio 54, and
They said like
like,
everybody
all
was
the
an artist
scenes.
in a certain area, South something. Everyone was an artist at that time, and like, you know, John Basquiat would crash on this person's couch, and then go.
Yeah.
They were couch crashing on everyone, and everyone would just kind of live together. And everyone was doing something art wise. They were either a musician for music, obviously, or they were painting, or they were doing other things or something like that. You know what I mean? And Michael's just surrounded by it because he's like the guy for club promoting and promoting parties. Dude, they were on Donahue. Like, we didn't even get into that. They were on Donahue back in the day. Geraldo. Like, you can go look all this stuff up. Geraldo, way back in the day when he's doing like Maury Povich type shit.
Right.
So, but yeah, it was cool. And you can see all that stuff and whatnot. And it's cool to see that he's kind of like taken a different approach at life now and done some artistry. And his artwork seems to be very Warhol-ish, but also very...
Yeah, it does remind me of Warhol to a certain extent.
But it also reminds me of like his take on stuff too. But how can you not be influenced by stuff like that was so prominent at that time frame in your...
Yeah.
Before he went away? I mean, like, you know what I mean? He got locked up for some time, so I'm sure a lot of just stimulus in general didn't get to him like it would normally.
I mean, so that painting he was talking about, Swastika Mickey, you know, a lot of people don't realize the background behind Walt Disney at that period. And, you know, they're doing a really good job taking his persona that was good and getting out to the mass public. Because, you know, Walt Disney it's a household name.
Is he a Nazi or some shit?
He was a supporter of, supposedly, I mean, yeah.
Who's to say? When we wake him up from his frozen slumber, we'll ask him.
Right. He'll come out of slumber. He's like, why?
What's up?
Why aren't you blonde hair?
Yeah, why is everyone mixed?
What is this music I'm listening to?
Why is everyone mixed? Where are all the white people?
I'm going to go on one of my cruises.
Yeah. What are all these kids doing here?
Everybody off the boat.
Yo, speaking of that crap. No,
what
I'm not
crap?
going to get into
Okay.
Walt Disney. I was just going to be like, yeah, there's like tunnels underground. You know, they have tunnels to get around everywhere underground.
Well,
but I mean, they have tunnels to get around for the park. And then I've also heard they have tunnels that are like secret tunnels. And they have like different restaurants, like secret restaurants and shit like that.
Well,
this might be the one in California, I think. But
yeah, I think what they're doing now is the right thing. I mean, they always, everybody you talk about, they want to make,
what's the right
they want it to
thing?
be the happiest day for a person's life. So, you know, the negativity, I mean, there are kids, and kids are idiots sometimes, but.
Most of the time?
Yeah. But, you know, whatever.
We don't have to talk about Walt Disney.
No, let's change that. Thank you.
So yeah,
I just started rambling on about it, but
yeah. Well, let's
his
take
interpretation.
Let's take the last like 10, 15 of this, and we'll just do like a slight catch up because we had some cool things happen in the last like fucking 8 months.
I like ketchup. Well, we haven't been on since what?
February was the last time. February, Mason and I did Lux. Oh yeah, it's about to rain for sure.
Well, so I wasn't available for the Lux thing. I was still under the weather.
You were sickly.
Yes. But, you know, it's one of those
You were over the weather for the podcast that we did with Mark Starr. You were over the weather.
Right.
And then you were under the weather for the next one.
Wasn't feeling so hot, guys. Happens. But even there, a lot of things have happened.
Yeah, you went on a big trip.
Yeah. So I posted.
You moved in with your girlfriend. I think we talked about that on the podcast. Yeah.
A while back.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's been a while. You did that, and you and her went on a kind of like a long trip.
Yeah. So we planned it last year, and we ended up finally getting around to it. I had Radiohead tickets, so we took a road trip.
In New Orleans.
Yeah. We took a road trip with my soon-to-be brother-in-law and my sister, and we checked out New Orleans for a few days. I don't drink as much as I used to.
No, what did you think of? When you say checked out New Orleans? Did you just go to the Mardi Gras street?
Oh, so
Bourbon Street.
we went on Bourbon. We checked down the French Quarter. You know, got some beignets.
What do you think of that place?
Well, you know, it smells like piss sometimes.
It smells horrible.
That's besides the point. You know, if you're drinking,
especially in the daytime. Oh, in the
Yeah.
daytime when the sun is beating down, it's just like alcohol, piss, puke, shit smell. Oh my god, très magnifique.
that's what they would say down there.
Yeah, I know.
But you know, it's if I drank more, then maybe I'd enjoy it.
If you were a college
we
bro,
checked out some of the parks, some of the local eats, which were pretty good, and you know, a little bit of touristy scene.
I've only been twice, and both times have been strictly kind of like for Bourbon Street type shit. And I told myself I would never go back to Bourbon Street if I went back again. I mean, I would like to go back again. I explored like the 9th Levee Ward area and stuff too.
Yeah, I've
'Cause it's right there.
done that. We checked out some of the cemeteries and whatnot.
Yeah, that shit's crazy.
But other than that, well, after the Radiohead show,
Well, don't glance over the Radiohead show.
the Radiohead show was good. my girlfriend's not a huge music nerd like I am, so she likes music, but she's not like, I know this artist.
And Radiohead's probably not a good one to take someone like that to.
Right, because you have to be one of those fans. She enjoyed it.
You don't have to be one of like okay, because we talked about it before.
Oh, yeah.
I was fucking strung out on mushrooms when I saw them at Bonnaroo, and like that is why I like Radiohead. I mean, I like Radiohead's like
In passing.
hits,
Right.
Yeah, but now I like listen to Radiohead. You know, I get it, bro.
Well, so the show was good. It was at the Smoothie Center. It was a big arena, which, you know, they don't tour very often. So I think there was 8 shows in the U.S. And whenever I got tickets, it's because Atlanta was already sold out and Miami. So an hour later, they released Portland, Seattle, California, New Orleans. And luckily, I got the New Orleans show. So all of them were sold out. Your hot breath.
My dogs.
Yes. But I mean, it was good. My sister went. That was the first time she saw him. This is my second time seeing him. Saw him in Tampa before, and I liked the mix. They ended up hitting a few tracks on OK Computer.
Did they play Creep?
No.
No. Yeah, I know. That was something I didn't realize they'd stop doing.
They rarely do. I think they ended up playing it at Coachella.
Did they?
Yeah.
Weird. 'Cause I know they stopped playing it since like the 90s, but I looked that up. And again, this is me at Bonnaroo strung out on fucking like psychedelics. I'm like, they're not playing Creep? What the fuck, dude? That's like the shit. That's like the song.
It was like 92, though.
Yeah, I know. They stopped playing it a while ago.
It's also when they were like a slave to their record label.
That shows you how many Radiohead concerts I've been to in my lifetime.
But I really enjoyed it. Next, we ended up doing the West Coast thing.
You flew from there to Portland?
Portland. And then I was there for 3 days.
Voodoo Donuts.
A lot of donut places.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of donuts. I even had a donut today, by the way.
Did you?
But
You know, shitty info
Hey.
for you to know. Did you eat a lot of sushi out there?
you know, yes.
Good.
So it's really it tastes good. It
Is
tastes
it different?
better.
Is it different because it's nuked?
I don't.
Because you know they got all that Fukushima,
Yeah, the radioactive makes it taste better.
little nuked, the double nuke it. You know,
It was really good.
I'm sure
not gonna lie.
it's right off the boat.
No, yeah, but
No, I mean like the fish is, you know what I mean? They got like a lot of fish out there. Not right off the boat like it's fucking Japan.
yeah.
I should have said
Is that
that.
a
No, I
Asian-
shouldn't have said that. No, like right off the boat, like they catch it there. Like
Oh yeah. No, but it was really good. Food was great. That's one of the things whenever you travel.
you have to hit it.
You just want to eat
Mhm.
anywhere, doesn't matter.
If you eat McDonald's, like if you pull a Mandarino and you just have like plain hamburgers, and you just like my man will go in there and be like, I just want a burger dry, just meat and bread from McDonald's.
But see, I think there's this different thing because you just want to get some substance in your stomach, maybe.
No, he says it's good.
No,
Yeah,
Like-
he
that's his list.
Kyle's pretty basic when it comes to like food, like Velveeta cheese and shells and cheese, and no, he don't eat hot dogs. Doesn't eat eggs. Doesn't eat a lot of stuff. So it'd be interesting. Like we always talk about, like when we go out and we go play shows out of town, we always have to eat like shit food, which is fine. I'm not a fan. I'm not like not a fan of shit food, but like I get stuff off the menu that has like put condiments on my burger. Yeah, throw some
Yeah.
lettuce on there. I like tomatoes. He's like, yo, and if there's like a pickle on there,
So
or
why is there a
mustard,
vegetable
yeah,
on this?
he'll be like, yo, there's like three onion sprinkles from McDonald's burger on my shit. I'm going back around.
Make it right.
Dude, I swear, going in the fucking drive-through with him, you have a 50-50 shot, and that's a giving him, some. I mean, like usually we have to go back around. Yeah, it's insane. But anyway, moving on. You had great food in Portland.
Great scenery. I like Portland better than I like Seattle.
Oh, you did go to Seattle, didn't you?
Yeah. So 3 days in Seattle, Portland, 3 days in Seattle, 3 days driving up the coast. It's long, dude. Taking a 13-day trip.
Yeah, it's a doozy.
I won't do that again. Like, not in that many places. I didn't have any days to relax and chill.
You feel like, but when you're planning it, you're thinking like, fuck it, 2 weeks.
I gotta do this.
You think you have 2 weeks, and you're like, I got fucking mad time.
Yeah.
But
every day was go.
Yeah, and you're not go in here. You know what I mean? You're not having that kind of like, I mean, you're going to work and shit, but you're not like hustling to make this and make that and check this and check that.
But in the meantime, I've been working on the photos that I've taken, like 1,500 photos in that period of time, like an idiot. Taking a picture of everything. But
you'll be able to check those out at some website at some point.
Right. But, it's even me learning how to really edit those down the way I want them to. Mm-hmm. Because my bootleg version, I had to get the subscription.
Oh, right. We're talking about Photoshop and Lightroom.
Right. So
I hooked you up with the Bobo stuff. Not Bobo stuff, just
It worked for a while. It just didn't. It stopped working, and I was like, "Damn it! All right, well let's get the real deal."
Subscription-based services aren't horrible though, especially for something like that.
No, I agree.
Like all the Photoshop shit's like thousands.
$10 a month.
Yeah,
So it works well, and I just want to be able to master it before I really make a portfolio for other things.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, did the 48-hour film festival.
That's true. Yeah, you did. It's a 7-minute long movie there.
Yeah.
We'll post a link in the description.
Well, there's another showing on Saturday at Sunray for it. The first one last week sold out, which is, it's a group of.
They're going to play all the films?
Yeah, there's a ton of them. It's one of those things. Small projects. They hit up a lot of the major cities, but these are, I believe, the Florida or the locals. I don't know. And
but the movie you showed me, is that online somewhere, or is that
not yet?
Okay. I thought maybe it was on YouTube and you just showed it me on YouTube.
And we'll share it with the page when I'm comfortable.
When I'm comfortable with it.
I only did the cinematography.
No, it's fine.
Because whenever we got the assignment,
it's a lot better than like a student film. Like you know what I mean?
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Even the acting isn't horrible, as horrible as you would expect. Some kind of like, oh, we have fucking 24 hours to make a movie. Let's do it. So yeah, it's definitely better than what you would think,
Right. But other than that, same old as same old.
Working the job.
What about you?
Me?
We had a concert, but.
Yeah, I'm going to tell that story about the concert.
Okay.
So, a week ago, 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks
Beginning
ago.
Beginning of June, we had tickets. We've had tickets for J. Cole. J. Cole was coming to Jacksonville, and he was playing a venue that's quite smaller than the what he would normally play.
Yeah.
So his current tour that he's on, which is For Your Eyes Only, I believe, is the name of the tour as well. Support that album, but he is playing smaller venues in the beginning. He's playing smaller venues in the beginning. I think the first 5 dates are like small venues. Then it's rather slightly larger ones, and then like we'll get to like not stadium, but arenas. So anyway, how many people were there? It sold out. So how many people were there?
I'd say 2,000 at most.
At most, yeah.
At most.
Most of them were kind of crammed up in the front there, but we got there rather late. Me and Darren met JP, and I didn't even meet your friend until later.
Oh, Drew.
Drew, yeah.
So, you met Drew before, but
yeah, I've been with him once or twice, especially at Wacko's.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I remember that. Anyway, so me and Darren show up, and I had some pre-rolls on me, and we burnt one in the garage.
You guys are wilding out.
We burnt one in the garage, and on the parking garage, and then we went over, and it took a while to get in, and then there were 3 opening acts, and so by that time, like
I didn't realize there was going to be opening acts. By the way,
I didn't either. They weren't. No one said anything about it. But my little high had started to wear off. Now, granted, we also met up with some other people, so we had a little group going. There was about 6 of us there. the show, J. Cole's about to go on, and we're in the back of the main floor area, which is still very close. But there are security guards on stairs behind me and everybody else. So I was like, damn, we're not going to be able to smoke this shit. And it's a rap show, so you would assume that not that you should assume, but, you would just, that kind of music and that vibe. I put the
I pregame differently. I had a little bit of whiskey. Hey, don't knock the whiskey.
I'm not.
I like the hard liquor.
You got you. I got me. I'm. Yes. Oh yeah. And since the last time we probably talked, I still am not drinking. So hey, but anyway. So J. Cole comes on. Everyone rushes forward, and we get about like 10, 15 feet that we can go forward, and people start filling in behind us. So I text somebody that's working at the venue, and I had already asked him before. I was like, "Yo, do you think it's cool if we burn right now?" And he's like, "Yeah, go ahead." So like, okay, cool.
Like, why not?
Yeah, it's fucking yeah. And by the way, I smelt it the entire night already. It's not like
I smell here and there.
We're not the first ones out here fucking lighting it up. It's already going on. But again, we had people right behind us. So
my homeboy was at the bar. I kept going back and forth, checking on him. I had to use the bathroom. It's a problem with drinking because I tend to pee a lot. I don't know if it's because my bladder is just small or I just drink a lot.
Social drinkers, bro. You just keep going.
Yeah,
But yeah, so I gave the pre-roll to Darren, and we fucking started smoking it, and we're passing it around. And there's there's 5 of us passing around. And then someone behind me actually is like, "Yo, man, if I give you some cash, can I hit it one time?" I was like, "Dude, you can just join in." So like,
that's
we're
kind of you, by the way.
Right, exactly, passing forward. So we're all doing that and passing it around, and then he gives it back to me, and it's like the smallest little roach ever. So like, I don't know why he did that. He's like, "Here you go, man." I was like, all right, cool. And I probably hit it once. He's like, yo, security, like immediately. So I was like, boop, threw it on the floor, stomped it out. We're good. I'm vibing. J. Cole's on at this point. It's like a second song or some shit. And so we're vibing and we're in it. And at the same time, I guess there's someone up, like there's a security guard on the second story balcony that's like flashing a flashlight and like a green
I saw pointer. A laser pointer.
Yeah, laser pointer.
Like seeing laser pointers all over the evening. I'm like, what the hell's going on here?
I thought people were just like, vibing and doing the rave thing. No.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
It's like, what the hell is this?
But no, so like the cursor and the light drop right in front of me on the person right in front of me. Right? And then like security comes over to that individual and they start like taking him out.
It's like, you, sir.
And he's like, "What? I didn't. What's great?" He's like, "I wasn't smoking." And I even said, "He's not smoking. He wasn't smoking." But I'm not gonna go. I have more on me.
It was me.
I'm not trying to get super involved, and I had more on me anyway. So I wasn't gonna be like all out and all, Justice Dave or nothing like that. So literally, he got booted out. Second song into J. Cole, and it like fire engulfed my whole body because I thought like someone else. He was like, they were going to come back and find us or whatever.
Right.
So 90 seconds after that, I was like, all right, I'm going to the fucking bar and I'm out, dude. This zone is hot and we are not wanted here. So I left. But hey, the rest of the show was dope as fuck.
Yeah. I saw you here and there throughout the show, but it was too busy to like get a group together and just chill, I think.
Right, yeah. But I mean, luckily it was a small venue and there wasn't really a bad spot in that entire venue. So,
what do you think about the audio?
You couldn't hear him talk.
His vocals were a little low.
Like even when there was no music playing, there was no talk. You couldn't really hear what he was saying or anyone before him at all either. But like when he was singing the song and stuff like that, I guess because maybe some of the songs, it sounded like you could hear him better.
Well, there were definitely sing-along moments. And anybody that hasn't seen him yet, if you like his music, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, if you don't know who J. Cole is yet, definitely check it out.
Or
idiot. He's only like my second favorite rapper. My first favorite would be Kendrick, who, by the way, since we fucking last had a podcast, that album came out. But yeah, that's a great album too. Just spoiler alert.
For anybody that doesn't,
if
you're waking up and you're like Walt Disney.
Yeah, if you're Walt Disney cryogenically unfrozen.
Check out the new Kendrick.
The new Kendrick's dope, and guess what? There's a new J. Cole that came out within the last year too.
Roger that. But we got a few other things going on.
We got some stuff lining up for the podcast yet.
And we had to take a hiatus because we had some cancellations.
You got busy. I had some personal shit going on.
I was out of town. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Life.
It happens. But hey, yo, we were back with you punching you in the face with the party monster. How you like that? That was a cool one. That was cool. Even though it was like through the phone while he's in the car, that's fine. It's just cool that we network with these people and reach out, and that's all it takes is like some stuff.
No, it was a little while in the making.
Oh yeah, and especially, dude, I emailed him months ago. So, but you get that email back, and you're like, holy fuck.
Okay.
The Deftones read my email? No, I'm just kidding. But they definitely did read my email and told me that no, they won't.
Give me passes?
They won't do anything.
They won't give me a media pass?
I didn't email them about the show coming up.
Oh yeah, ask
the one the last time. Yeah, okay. I'll let you know.
Pass.
But hey, yeah, they definitely won't be on the podcast. So
Deftones not coming to the podcast, guys.
guaranteed, confirmed, not going to be on the podcast.
So yeah, I got tickets for that. The Thrice Rise Against.
Oh yeah, there's a new
Deftones.
venue in town that opened up since the last podcast that holds a couple thousand people.
Yeah, 4,000 people.
So it is going to bring different types of shows to town. So who knows? We may even get the Deftones may be on the podcast for like 10 minutes.
You heard it here first.
But confirmed, they're definitely not going to go on the podcast as of right now.
I like Chino, man.
We'd get one.
I've seen him a few times. I'm like, hey, just come on the podcast.
Yeah, I've been buying your shit for so long. We would probably get a podcast, and it would be with not Chino, and then I would be like, all right, well, JP can do it. He'll be there. Well, that being said, I think we should wrap this up.
All right. Well, we're gonna plan some other things, guys. Stay tuned.
Yeah, we got some other stuff being planned out. I can tell you, the next couple episodes, we will eventually have Nick Fresh on. We'll have him on, and he's going to be very interesting because he's
Shout out to Nick.
Yeah, he's one of my best DJ buddies. We're gonna have someone that's going to be.
He's also really good.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
Overall, dude.
Didn't he win? Oh no, you guys were tied with the best.
Yeah, Nick Fresh won best DJ in the area on some like Folio Weekly magazine thing, and I was second. So it's cool. No big deal. No love lost. No. I think I tied with him, and someone else won. Yeah.
Well, last year I think he won.
Oh, he's definitely one of the best DJs in town. Man. So if not that, I know. So anyway, moving on. My friend Dylan, who is doing some work in the cryptocurrency Bitcoin area, we'll have him on too because there's some interesting stuff that he's doing. And then I just recently got into some Bitcoin.
Crypto game.
Yeah, I'm in the crypto game. Like only 2 years after telling everyone to get into it.
And then that's what happens. By the way.
Yeah, when I told you.
So, hey, there's
Zach,
a company making computers called Apple.
Yeah.
By the way.
Fuck that. They don't have a mouse or some shit. No, yeah, but I told you. I told myself. I told Zach. I told everyone that used to work at the old job I used to work at that you still work at. Yo, Bitcoin is $200, dude. They used to be $800. We should all buy some. If you check the going rate for a Bitcoin now, it's like $2,600 per Bitcoin. It's a good flip of the fucking cash if we would have done that, but
it happens.
You live and learn. Apparently, it's predicted to go to 10 grand in Bitcoin. So if you're listening to this, buy a Bitcoin, or the other kind of coins.
A one Bitcoin.
If you have $2,500, you can buy one Bitcoin. Yeah, I've been playing poker and just my winnings I've been taking out in Bitcoin. So that's how I've been accumulating Bitcoin, and I haven't lost yet. So fuck it.
Hey, you don't say that.
Yeah, knock on the glass. That'll help you out.
No, why not?
All right, so I guess we're just gonna end it right here, and like JP said, we're gonna be back.
Yeah.
We'll be back.
Check us out. TNOSpodcast.com. And at TNOS Podcast, Twitter.
And our Instagram if we ever decide to do stuff on that. We have the New Old School Podcast on Facebook. You can
Are we plug this ahead of time or no?
Yeah, but they've listened to this far, so you can listen to it again. You can do our YouTube channel.
ASAP Whiskey.
ASAP Whiskey on the fucking Twitter for JP Lurk City. You can come fuck with me hardcore. All right, but anyway, I guess cue the music.
Cue it.